like the one of the main themes that you discuss is this idea of epistemic injustice, which is two big words, right? Can you break that down for us a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So epistemic, so this is a term from philosophy. It's from a British philosopher called Miranda Fricker, and she coined the term back in 2007. And epistemic basically refers to knowledge, and injustice means something unfair that is happening. So epistemic injustice is a type of injustice related to knowledge. So she defines it as being a wrong occurring to someone in their capacity as a knower. And we know that part of being human, what gives us dignity, is being able to produce knowledge and to be able to pass it on. So part of that is to talk, and to be listened to and to be taken seriously, so that what we've said, we feel like we've been listened to. So when we can't do that, we experience an injustice, epistemic injustice. And it tends to affect the same kind of groups that affect other types of social injustice, so mainly minoritized groups. So, for example, people who are minoritized due to their gender, so women or trans folk, due to ethnicity, so people of color, due to religion, due to poverty, due to class, due to sexuality, so lots of different reasons. And epistemic injustice actually happens quite frequently in healthcare. It happens in lots of settings, but it can happen, for example, to patients. So patients often complain about going to their doctors and feeling that what they've said has not been taken seriously. So they've been dismissed or been told, whatever you're talking about is all in your head, it's actually normal. And they leave their doctors feeling like they've been unheard. And this can actually be very dangerous because it means, they may not be diagnosed, they may not get treatments or investigations. And in the worst case scenarios, it can even lead to death. So it's a really important problem, which is often heard about. And as I said, often affects minoritized populations in particular. So a very famous example of this is Serena Williams, the African-American tennis player, who wrote very movingly about giving birth to one of her children, about when she went into hospital. When she was very pregnant, she said, I'm feeling very unwell and I'm very worried that I might have blood clots because I've had to come off my medication to have this pregnancy. So, I'm feeling short of breath and unwell. I think I need to be checked out. And basically, she was told by her healthcare team that she was wrong. She didn't know her body at all, and she would be fine. And luckily, she was heard. She managed to advocate for herself. And she had a scan which showed she did indeed have blood clots, which in her lungs, which can be life-threatening. And she got the treatment she needed. And she wrote afterwards, that if she hadn't shouted for help, it could have been very dangerous. And certainly being an African-American woman in a healthcare system that is institutionally racist and sexist put her at higher risk of not being heard. So I really wanted to write this book to talk about those people who aren't heard. And I had an experience myself more than 10 years ago now as a patient. So I have endometriosis, which is a very common menstrual condition, which commonly presents with pain. And I was admitted to hospital with kind of, the worst pain I'd ever had. And I was treated like a fraud. I wasn't believed. I didn't get the medication I needed. And I thought, if this can happen to me, I'm a senior doctor. I know exactly how the healthcare system works. I can speak English. I had someone to advocate for me. My partner was very helpful. What on earth happens to everyone else? And I also, afterwards really reflected on why I didn't complain at the time and why I didn't complain afterwards. And I think it was because I felt very ashamed, I think, and that shame really lingered and I felt silenced. So I wrote the book to really explore epistemic injustice in healthcare, coming back to it, to think about why people go unheard and what we can do about it, crucially. And also my role in this. I'm a doctor. I don't always listen to the best of my ability. I wanted to really understand, what makes it hard for us to listen at all different levels. And it's a positive book. So, I wanted to come up with solutions of what can be done.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. And yeah, and I do think for anyone who's thinking about buying the book and reading the book, you do come up with solutions, and also you make it very easy for the reader because although the chapters have a lot of detailed content, well-referenced content, at the end of every chapter you do the summary of the bullet points, which I love. So yeah, you give people the answers effectively in bullet points at the end of each chapter. So the toolkit is there for those who are looking to improve their practice, whether individually or at organizational or systems level.